What about you, and welcome to Primary Lawns video. Today we're going to be talking about August lawn care tips. Now August is a big month within lawn care. You might be planning to do an early lawn renovation. We killed this lawn off last year and redid it, and we started that in August. I'm going to show you how to kill clover in your lawn organically. I'm going to show you how to treat red thread. We're going to talk about some aeration, and lastly I'm going to show you a method that fertiliser companies don't want you to know about, an easy cheap way to make really good fertiliser, so stick around. Welcome back. Now I have this really good tip to tell you about how to kill clover in your lawn, and it's going to help you make some really cheap fertilisers, and the fertiliser companies don't want you to know, so keep it to yourself. Now before we get too far into the video, guys, if I could ask you to smash that like button, subscribe for more videos like this. I post regular lawn care tips and tricks and bringing your lawn to the next level. So look, let's get on with August lawn care tips. Anyone that's planning to do some aeration this time of year, I would say stick to small holes. Don't hollow core. Whenever you hollow core, you're going to open the ground right up. Perhaps just stick to the fork or a drill with a drill bit on it. Today we're going to be aerating the lawn with this thing here, but we're just going to be using the very small spikes. We're going to be staying away from the cores or putting big holes down into the ground. We have some brown patches on the lawn. Now let's have a closer look. Whenever we take a close-up look at them, you'll actually see some red in the grass. Now red thread is a very common lawn disease now in the UK. 10 years ago you hardly seen it at all. Caused mostly by a nitrogen deficiency or nitrogen deficiency in your soil. But it's also always in the air. And whenever you get warm, damp conditions, that's whenever the red thread appears. So we treat it with nitrogen. So we'll have these patches here, and I don't know if the camera picks it up, but the grass is actually red, and it's caused just a fungus that grows in the air, and anytime you get the right conditions, it comes down and it attacks the grass, and although it doesn't do much harm to your lawn, it looks very unsightly. You typically get these patches through the summer, starting in June, July, August. Should you use fungicide to treat red thread on your lawns? I would say no, you shouldn't. Whenever you use fungicide, you kill all the bacteria in your lawn. We use products like this compost tea to introduce the bacteria that we do want into the lawn. So whenever you use a fungicide, you're wiping all of that out and you're undoing your good work. So what I would say to you is learn how to treat red thread organically, and you'll have a much healthier lawn. I'm going to give you 6 easy tips to kill clover in your lawn. Now the most obvious one would be use a selective weed killer and just go around and spray any weeds that you have. Now not everybody wants to use weed killers, so we'll get a lot of other questions about how to do it organically. So my first tip would be just to take a knife and to cut it out. We've covered that in quite a bit of detail in other videos, so I'm not really going to get into that one. Cut it out, bit of soil down, job done. Clover has this really neat trick where it can literally pluck nitrogen out of the air and it converts it into nitrogen. So whenever you see clover growing, it's usually all green around the edges and in the middle, and the rest of the grass will be pretty bare. Usually you'll see clover growing in an area that needs fed. Now overwatering can be a real issue if you have some clover, because you're always washing the good nutrients straight out of the soil. So whenever you overwater, you're going to encourage clover. Another simple tip to help get rid of clover in your lawn is to raise your height of cut and let your lawn outgrow it. Now clover typically grows in areas that are really compacted and malnourished, so a really easy way, aerate in and around. Now maybe the auger is not a tool I would use, maybe use the fork or even just a drill bit and drill in and around the area where it is. Alright guys, now before we get into the really juicy bit of this video, I'm going to show you the nuclear option for dealing with clover on your lawn. If you've exhausted all other methods and if you don't want to use a weed control, would be to put down a mat and cover it and take away the light. Although this here is actually what I would say the nuclear option, because you're going to kill the other grass around it, but it is very effective. Just going to take some membrane that you've put underneath stones, and whenever we put that down on the lawn, it's going to block out the light and it's going to kill. Now, downside to this is that you're going to kill some of the grass too. But if you don't want to use chemicals, this is a very good option. Now, the product I'm going to tell you about today is called sulphate of ammonia. You've probably heard of sulphate of ammonia. It usually comes in granular form and you might use it around your cabbages, etc. Or you might apply it to your lawns in a granular form. I'm going to show you how you can break those granulars down into water, give you the calculations for step by step for everything you need to use it on your lawn. And this method is a really cheap and easy way to green up your lawn. Whenever you learn how to do this, you'll not buy shop bought nitrogen again, you'll just always use sulphate of ammonia. One of the really good things is you can mix it up with other products, the seaweed, humic acids, everything else to make some really cheap fertilizers. So let's get on with that now. Now this is something that fertilizer companies don't want you to know. Whenever you learn how to make your own fertilizer up, it's an awful lot cheaper. So we're going to do some simple maths today. One bag of sulphate of ammonia weighs 25 kilos. And that treats 1 hectare, which is 10,000 square meters. So to work out exactly how much you need per square meter, we're going to put the knots on the end of the kilos just to keep the decimal points right. So we're going to say 25,000 divided by our square meter rate, which is 10,000. So we'll take our calculator and we'll go 25,000 divided by 10,000, which is our hectare rate, equals 2.5 grams per metre square. Now, if your lawn measured 100 square metres, you would multiply that figure times 100, which is 250 grams. So 2.5 grams times 100 square meters equals 250 grams. Why you should use liquid over granular, especially for red thread, is because the liquid works right away. A granular takes time to break down, although the downside to liquid is you're literally cutting it off the lawn every time you cut the grass. There are different grades of sulphate of ammonia, guys, but they're all in essence the same. That you can pick that up off Amazon or you can get it from your garden centre. But if you want to support my channel and if you find this video helpful, I'll leave a link down below where you can pick it up for no extra cost to yourself. Whenever you're using that stuff, you'll probably have to leave it overnight. Make the mix up the amount you need for your size of the lawn and leave it overnight and come back and it'll be ready to put into the sprayer. Before you start this, you're going to need safety glasses anytime you handle chemicals. Safety glasses and always gloves, all right? Now this stuff will stain paving, so you need to be really careful over if you're going to be doing this over concrete. Right guys, so now we'll have that covered. Let's get the lawn sprayed. Now sulphate of ammonia can scorch your grass, so you need to be careful with it and don't overdo the rates that I've quoted below. If you're going to go above the rates I've quoted below, go up in increments to make sure that you don't scorch the grass.